Hello and welcome to another live talk with me, Leah Hine from Lakora Yoga. So today we are going to be talking about ways in which you can use yoga in your everyday life. So if you do have any questions during this, either live or on replay, then drop me a message and let me know, because I have got the chat up, I think. Yes, so I can see. Okay. So today, the way in which we want to talk about this is with yoga being an on and off the mat thing. So have you ever heard of yoga being said as yoga on the mat and yoga off the mat? Maybe you've heard like yoga teachers say this, take yoga on and off the mat. Do you have any idea what that means? And if you are listening, you can drop me a comment and let me know. So yoga teachers talk about this all the time, yoga on and off the mat. It took me a long time to actually see and understand exactly what they were talking about with this. So let me just explain a little. When you get on your yoga mat and you go through your practice, a lot of things can happen. A lot of thoughts and feelings can appear. So just as a few examples of these, you may think to yourself, I just can't do it. I can't hold this pose any longer. Oh my God, will this teacher ever shut up? Why can't I stop thinking? Why is this so hard? But then there's also like other things. There's also positive things, because you can also think to yourself, wow, I can't believe I did that. Wow, I'm so flexible. Like, I don't know, any thoughts that come up during yoga, and there's so many different ones, so it's great to notice these. So when the teacher asks you to listen into your body, they're not just talking about feelings, they're not just talking about like feeling a stretch or feeling a pain. They're asking you what's coming up for you in this moment. So that could be body involved, it could be in your mind. Maybe it's just a sudden feeling that's come over you. It can be all of these things, especially like the thoughts that I've just mentioned. It gets us to see what's going on in ourselves. And it lets us ask ourselves, why? Why am I feeling this? Why am I thinking this? Why am I doing this? So this is yoga on the mat. The teacher kind of brings this out of you normally. Understanding your body, your mind, and your soul, right? So when you take this off of the mat, what does that look like? Well, if you're always trying to rush through your yoga practice, how are you in your life? Are you always trying to rush through things in your life? Are you busy? Your to-do list is miles long. If you've got to go to the shop, you're basically running there. You're rushing, rush. Notice what comes up in your yoga class to what comes up in your life. Maybe if you're somebody who absolutely loves Shavasana and you love the relaxing poses, are you in desperate need of some relaxation? Maybe you love that so much because you're craving it, your body needs it. Maybe it's the complete opposite. Maybe you're actually too comfortable. You could be too comfortable in these positions, and that's why you don't want to leave it. So there's not necessarily like a one answer fits all here. It's completely individual. Another way to look at this is, do you consciously keep looking around the room as you're doing your yoga and wonder what everyone else is doing or thinking, and then doubting yourself? Which, by the way, most people will not ever be looking at you. Everybody is completely focused in on their own yoga practice when they're doing yoga. So, where else does that show up in your life? Are you constantly comparing yourself to others? Are you constantly wondering what other people are thinking about you? My cat is going absolutely crazy on my tower, if anybody can see him. What are you doing, Enzo? Crazy he is. So it's ideal to notice what comes up on the yoga mat and then consciously think, okay, where does this show up in my life? And why? Why does this show up in my life? Why do I do these things? And please don't ever be hard on yourself either. The first step to all this is noticing. As soon as you notice, then you can ask yourself why. But do not be hard on yourself. So there's so many ways in which you can take the thoughts that come up on the mat off of the mat. As for example, the ones that I just mentioned. And I can give you so many more, but we would literally be here all day. So how can yoga improve your life? By taking it off the mat. Okay, so what I've just said, noticing what's going on in your body and then taking that into your life as well. So there's 4 main steps that I want you to know here. The first one is to start practicing yoga. Start practicing and just notice what comes up. Just trying to see if I can see the comments. Okay, yeah, I can see the comments. So just notice what comes up. Maybe nothing comes up for a few weeks. Maybe, if you're brand new to yoga, you need to get used to this idea of doing something new first and, getting into the flow of that. And then you might start noticing like little thoughts coming up. So we need to figure out what yoga is first. Okay, so get into the yoga practice, start practicing, see how your body feels, notice what thoughts come up, and you will notice as well that a lot of yoga teachers will drop little things during the class to make you think. Notice what answers come up for you when they do this. And it doesn't necessarily have to be them asking a question. So, how does your body feel right now? Notice what your breath's doing. Is your heart beating really fast? Little things like that. So just keep an eye on your practice. Maybe keep a journal. That's a great way to start doing this, is to do your practice, keep a journal next to you, and journal after. And remember that these don't have to be like hour-long classes either. They can just be like 5 minutes, 5-minute class. That's it. Notice what comes up, jot it down, and then after a week or 2, notice what's coming up. So the second thing is to notice what's happening in your body. Maybe you are really flexible on one side and you're not on the other, which by the way is completely normal because nobody is symmetrical both sides. One side will normally feel different than the other. So where in your life are you stretching one side and not the other? So these things can come up. And I think I've spoken about this before, but one of my yoga teachers, she said that one of her friends always kind of stood with one shoulder up, one shoulder down. She was a midwife. So she was always bent over, waiting for the baby to come. She was always bent over on one side. So naturally, her body then started to go like that, lengthening one side, shrinking the other. So just notice little things like that. Like maybe you're always holding your child on one side. Notice how it feels then if you then hold them on the other side. I know for me, I can't hold Alexis on this side. It just feels really, really awkward. It's like my hip doesn't come out enough. I can't like get her in there comfortably. So just notice little things like that. Even the way that you sit on the sofa. Maybe you're always leaning to one side. Do you always sit on the same side of the sofa? Maybe sit on the other side of the sofa. And I bet you'll notice the difference in your body by doing that. So it's these little things in our lives that we need to kind of pay attention to and just try to change it up a little bit. So the third reason is to notice your thoughts. Like I said above, do any of them thoughts come up? Like when you're in your yoga class, oh my God, I hate this. Why can't I stop thinking? I really can't do this pose. Why does this part of my body hurt? I suck at this. Notice what thoughts come up for you. And then again, notice where does that come up in your life? Are you consciously thinking everybody's talking about you? That's a big one for a lot of people. I think we all forget that everybody's sucked into their own little lives, and most of the time nobody is caring, thinking, looking at you. But in our minds we're like, oh, that person's staring at me. Why are they staring at me? What's wrong with me? Do I look horrible today? These little things can come up all the time. So just notice what comes up. And just to give a little example of this, I've got a friend who, I'm not going to name any names, but they've said before, that person keeps looking at me, and they get really paranoid, right? And she was thinking of this in a negative way, like, what are they staring at? Do they not think I'm a good mum? Blah, 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 blah. I was doing the opposite. I was looking, thinking, do you know what? That person is looking at you thinking, my God, she is doing an amazing job. Look at her struggling with kids. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's the different perspectives, the different way that you think about things. So try to notice what thoughts come up in your yoga class, because notice if you're really negative to yourself. There's no point being negative to yourself. That's not going to help you. It's not going to help anybody. Try to reverse it, okay? So one great exercise that I love to do with this is every time you think something negative, think of 3 positives. 3 positives. So if you're in a yoga class or you're out and you're thinking, I don't know, why is that person staring at me? I think I just look awful today. Think of 3 positives. Do you know what? I've had a busy morning, I've still got up, I've got the kids ready, and I'm off to work now. Okay, that's a positive, I would say. Maybe look down and think, do you know what? I've got some damn good shoes on right now. Do you know what I mean? Anything, any kind of positive thought that you can have. Say 3 positives to yourself for every negative. So I've just seen a comment, so I'm going to have a look. Yes, exactly, Emily. Thank you for watching. Yes, Emily is, if you're on Facebook, by the way, Emily has just commented. And go and check out her, because she's got an amazing challenge right now, which I'm going to do her yoga class in a minute. I've just been busy. So yeah, so that's number 3. The 4th thing is to listen to your soul. So how does your body feel after a yoga class? Normally you'll feel nice and calm, nice and relaxed, kind of loose and free, and most likely that is your body saying, hell yes, I needed that. It's telling you that that was good, that you need more of that in your life. So just notice these little things. And you know, I don't just mean yoga as well. If there's like any hobbies or something that you just feel absolutely amazing after doing, do more of it. So many of us are stuck in this kind of 9 to 5, you know, working constantly life, and we do not give ourselves enough time to do the things we love. We have one life and we need to live it. So that's my tips for today. So just take these 4 things and just start noticing yourself on the yoga mat. Notice what goes on the yoga mat, and notice how that affects your life. And then just see how you can kind of change it up a little bit. So I hope you enjoyed these tips. If you do have any questions, let me know. And that's our live talk done for today.